Boom. What's up, everyone? We are live. What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Drone Talk. It's your boy, Tyler. Guys, I need to put the sunglasses on because my future's too bright, as is all the other creators that we have on the show tonight. It's going to be a good one. The title's called Asking One of the Hardest Questions in Comic Book Creation. This isn't a clickbait title. This is definitely a question that I think all creators have asked themselves or are going to ask themselves, and I think should ask themselves. So we're going to get into the chat. Let's play this video because I pay $9 a month for it, so might as well play it. Here we go. Drone Talk. Yeah, guys, that was worth $9. Okay, so guys, tonight the question we're going to be asking is: do you create something based on your creativity and passion, or do you create something that will be commercially successful, or do you try to do both? Now, before I bring out my guests, and the reason why I'm asking this question is I just got done listening to a podcast by Sean Gordon Murphy. He's talking with this creator, and this creator isn't as successful as Sean, but the creator is like, yeah, like I make my comic book, it's what I want to make, but I don't make as much money. And Sean Gordon Murphy's very much a businessman, and he says, well, you should do what everyone wants so you can make more money. And the other creator was like, well, I can't, then I'd be a sellout. Then I'm like, making something that's mainstream and corporate that's gonna sell me out as a creator. And Sean's like, yeah, but at least you're making money and you're creating. So do you create something based on your creativity and passion, or do you create something that will be commercially successful, or both? That's what we're gonna ask tonight. But real quick, let me get my guests on. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Look at those sexy mother truckers.
We're getting intimate up here.
Super intimate. Fatal. We can see every. Did you put lotion on your nose?
I know you can see every mole.
You got a booger hanging on, man.
I do.
Little dangler.
Let me turn the camera.
We got Shinobi 1 here. Been a minute, Tyler. How you doing, man? I'm glad that you're still doing art and stuff. C-Dome 13, yeah. Fatal J, hello chat. Jay Espin, hey guys. Jay's been such a help with me in this Webtoons transition. Dio Brando, yo, how's it going? Massive Panda, what is up, Tyler? Vincenzo C, my biggest question is, has Snowball the Dancing Cat been fixed? And Larry says no, he is good to go. So guys, we have a really fun show planned for you guys. And Shinobi 1 says, get those blackheads off the screen.
Wow.
Oh, talking about acne, guys. That's what we're talking about.
I'm like that little kid mean. That's racist.
That's racist.
Nah, I know what you mean.
All right. So guys, we got Scott the Flock Wilson here. We got Nicholas Mueller from Demon Hunter Raven, and we got Fatal J on the show. Now, all of these three have Kickstarters and Indiegogos going on right now. In order to give them each enough time, we're going to ask this question, get into a discussion, and then we'll go. And then we'll feature one of the campaigns, and then we'll just keep rinsing and repeating. Now, before we start, though, I have been wanting to ask Fatal J this question. If you guys didn't know, Fatal J has a YouTube channel, and it's very heavily on the Snyder Cut. Fatal. Jay, okay, my man. I'm with you, dude. I'm a huge I'm a Snyder Cut believer.
Yeah.
Okay. When I walked out of Justice League, the Joss Whedon version, I was like, that was the biggest pile of garbage I have ever watched. However, let's say, okay, if the Snyder Cut, though, isn't good, will you trash it?
A lot of people ask me that question, and I'm going to be completely honest because I can only be completely honest. If it sucks, I'm going to do a review and say this movie was bad.
Nice.
Now, watch this. I'm, of course, a Zack Snyder fanboy. He's my favorite director. I love all his movies, 300, Watchmen, all those joints. I love them. But I can only tell the truth. If the movie is bad, it's bad, and I will tell everybody on my YouTube channel.
Gotcha. Because I was just wondering. I was like, because of how hardcore the Snyder Cut fans have been, like they've been pressing it so hard. If it does suck, I feel like they'd be like, "Crap, that sucked." But we got to keep quiet. We got to keep quiet. We got to keep quiet.
We'll do a steady whimper. Like, oh,
Exactly. It was like, "Oh, that was good."
we got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna have some people out there that straight shield, and they're going to lie if it's bad. They're gonna say, "Oh man, that movie was spectacular," you know. So it's coming.
Oh man, I guess though that kind of brings us though to this question of, do you create something based on your creativity and passion, or do you create something that will be commercially successful, or both? Because the Snyder Cut is really about Zack Snyder's vision and creativity and passion, and the Joss Whedon version was what was supposed to be the commercially successful, all that stuff. By the executives, like, you should do this. And so let's talk. So I've got everyone's campaigns in order. Let's ask Nicholas. Nicholas.
Oh no, I got 5 kids to feed, man.
It's a good start. What are your thoughts on this whole like creating something based off of either your passion, or do you do something that you go, okay, this is going to be commercially successful?
Well, let's ask, where are you starting from? Do you want to make so? Let's come from the point of view that if creating something commercial means successful, and doesn't end up being a Joss Whedon pile of crap, like Justice League, are you looking to make money, or are you all about being independent, punk rock style? Like, you're just in there, you're going to make your stuff, you're going to go in there, you're going to get your crowd. So I think you have to start from that point of view of, what is your goal? What is your mindset? What do you want? Do you want to be working with Batman? Do you want that Spider-Man gig? I think coming in from that sort of standpoint is going to determine where you want to go with your stuff, how you network, who you talk to. Because there's indie books and then there's indie books. Ninja Turtles started out as an independent black and white comic book, and the concept resonated with people so well that it went beyond independent and went into mainstream. Not all of us are fortunate enough to hit that sort of epitome and that sort of expansion, but I think you just have to ask yourself, does going commercial mean selling out to you? Does that mean giving up your passion? I think there's a few creators that have been able to keep their vision and keep moving forward, and some of them have been able to mix commercial with their passion to varying degrees. Like maybe Zack Snyder is maybe an example of someone that can mix his vision with commercial properties. And one that I always like to use is Christopher Nolan. Before the comic book movies were becoming these giant explosions of mass success, was Christopher Nolan came and did Batman Begins. It was Batman, but it was purely through his eyes and visions and how he writes, because you can go back to his passion projects, which have became commercially successful, but they're still his vision. You can tell when Christopher Nolan is directing something, or he has a hand on something, because it's got his style, his touch to it. You can tell when a producer, or there's several board people or executives that are handling something, it's now a commercial entity. It's not a singular vision. And maybe Marvel is better at getting away with an executive overlook. You had, I forget who the original Ant-Man director was going to be. He did Baby Driver. But that had, they're not all about a singular vision. They're about the corporate mentality of, we're pumping these out, we're going to have an end goal in mind. So you've got two different variations to look at, but they're still bringing in people with visions, and whether they have complete, like James Gunn, I think we can all say James Gunn has a very singular view, a passion. But then again, when you get into the commercial, it's, are you successful enough to handle a vision that they go, you make us money, you have the say.
Yeah. Because
you're right. Yeah.
With like Kevin Feige, he's like, okay, yeah, we want you to be able to make your own kind of individual movie, but you got to follow by these rules. And they were kind of doing that at the beginning with DC, with like, Snyder. He's like heading it, but then they all of a sudden it just went to crap. Look at Star Wars. Like there was no direction.
Oh, it was bad.
There was no direction in any of those. That's
what I was thinking about though. When my friend was talking, because Star Wars is the perfect example of not listening to your audience.
Exactly.
And I don't want to offend anybody who likes the J.J. Abrams and Ryan Johnson movies.
Offend them, man. Offend them.
Yeah, go out.
Okay, because those movies was horrible. And that you can't be selfish and want your own vision for something, because that was the words that came out of Ryan Johnson mouth for The Last Jedi. He said, I want to do it my way. I want to do this movie the way I want to do it, and it failed. Like, that was the biggest atomic bomb you could ever drop on Star Wars fans, was that movie.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And this is still feeling the ramifications of that movie to this day. They still can't get it together. The direction is all over the place. They don't know where to go.
Well, when you start with point one, the intro, and then subvert all expectations in your second part, and then the third part tries to go back and fix all the things that were being set up in there, you're telling two different complete stories. And it's also like where the Josh Whedon and the Zack Snyder cuts differentiate from each other. There's obviously two visions clashing against each other. And I think that's where it's great where Marvel has Kevin Feige to have a singular viewpoint to go, this is where we're going. You need a captain at the ship. And that's when you get into heavy corporate commercial things, is you have to understand you're now part of a giant vision and you're cog in the wheel. So if you want to maintain your vision, maybe you need to step out for a little bit, or, it depends. What do you want to do? I think every creator needs to sit down and determine, do you want money? Do you want to get into these opportunities, or do you want to stay mainstream, or independent? I think there's a lot of questions that need to be asked before you even go into those subcategories.
Well, yeah, because Marvel movies, they're all the same, regardless of what movie you see. It's always the same tone,
But that's
same
what people want.
jokes. Yeah, it's what everyone wants. And I think that's where Star Wars screwed themselves, is when they were trying to be too much like Marvel and having gags. There was in the Last Jedi, there's a "Your Mama" joke in the first 4 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
There's also there's also like in the Last Jedi, like Ryan Johnson had written his script even before the Force Awakens had come out. And and so he's like, I'm done. And they're like, there was just no like you said, there's no Kevin Feige who's like, this is the plan. But with if you are gonna write a Batman comic, or you are gonna write a Spider-Man, you do have to protect that already established fan base. So you do need to pander to them. Now, what would you guys say though with your own personal indie comic? Like, you got The Flock, you got Ninja Blast, you got Demon Hunter Raven. Are these commercials? Are they trying to get commercial success? Are you trying to, or is it like this? I'm doing it my way. I don't care if I don't get money, or is it hoping like the Christopher Nolan way? I'm gonna make whatever I want and hopefully it becomes commercially. What are your thoughts on that?
I can answer that. I can answer that real quick, real fast. If it was up to me, the way I make Ninja Blast, my main character will beat everybody's ass throughout the whole thing. But I understand that when people read a story, you have to give your character conflict. They have to go through a journey. So I can't have my character just beating everybody down and then he stands on top of the mountain at the end.
Oh, my character beat your character to death in a heartbeat. No ifs or buts about it.
I gotta just fly away.
Oh my gosh! Well, let's talk about this ass kicker, Fatal. Tell us. Oh my gosh, my character kicker. That is so.
We're going there. We're going.
Oh my gosh! Tell it, dude. Fatal. Tell us about Ninja Blast comic. Why do we need to read this?
Ninja Blast. I wanted this to be like a nostalgia thing for everybody. Kind of take you back to the 90s, take you back to the 90s comics, 90s anime and manga. And this is basically the summary of the story. You have a young ninja named Ace. He's pretty much an orphan. And in the middle of the story, or some point in the story, he gets between it's a big feud that's going on between, okay, you see these two characters, the old man character with the beards. The guy with the long white hair, that's his sensei. His name is Master Genshin. And then the guy with the other beard, that's General Gonto. He's the general of Neo Tokyo, and they happen to be brothers. And in some point of the story, Ace comes between their feud, and the feud is going to be huge. It's going to be explosive to Ace. Ace is going to discover a lot of secrets that Master Genshin has been hiding from him. Master Genshin is his father figure, and Master Genshin been hiding a lot of secrets from Ace, calling himself protecting his surrogate son. So it's going to be very interesting. That's why on the trailer I asked the people, what would you do if your sensei was hiding a murderous secret from you? What would
I
you
like
do?
that. Now, someone asked in the comments, can he beat Goku though?
Who, my character?
Yeah.
My character would get slaughtered by Goku. Goku cannot be beat by anybody.
At this
Who
point,
can
yeah.
beat Goku?
He's a god.
Yeah.
Could Thanos with the Infinity Stones beat him? Like, what? Where's he at with stuff?
I love the honesty though. You're not like, my character can beat Goku. You're like, no, my character can't beat Goku. Next question. No, I dig it. It's got a manga, like a Scott Pilgrim vibe right here. I really dig this.
I'm glad you said that because the creator behind Scott Pilgrim, he's just my inspiration. Like it's only a few comic book creators, in my opinion, that can make you look at a comic book as a movie. Frank Miller did it with Sin City, and the creator of Scott Pilgrim. When you read those Scott Pilgrim books, I lose myself in those books because it's just so many cool techniques that he put into that book I've never seen before in other comic books.
I haven't read Scott Pilgrim. I probably should now.
Man, you should, man. You should. I'm telling you, those books. This guy, he's a genius. The way he does stuff on pages.
What's the creator's
Have you seen
name?
the Scott Pilgrim movie?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
They
what's his
follow.
name?
They follow him. They followed everything he did in those books.
Wow,
Put
really?
him in the movie. Yeah,
Let's see, what's this freaking guy's name? Brian Lee O'Malley.
Yeah.
Brian. Yeah, he's that dude is incredible, man. I'm surprised people in the comic book world don't talk about him more.
Yeah, he's kind of like Boom's like big, or is it Oni? It's Oni.
Yeah, he was part of Oni.
Yeah, it's probably like Oni's like flagship. Like they probably love him over there. That book's probably what keeps Oni's lights on.
Yeah,
Are they even going anymore? I thought they had a giant like layoff of 3 years ago because they merged with another indie comic thing.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, they experienced. I don't even know if they're running anymore, to be honest.
Oh man. But so guys, we got Ninja Blast. I put the link in the chat. The link is also in the description, guys. For $15, you can get the main cover for the same price, $15. You can also get the Ninja Blast cover B cover. And $20 gets the 11x17 print. Did you figure out that shipping stuff, by the way?
yes, I did, and
Awesome.
thank you, my friend. And I
You're
owe you a lifetime.
You're good.
Because
we
Tyler
don't have,
saved my campaign. I'm just gonna put it out there, Tyler. You saved me, sir. Because I didn't know what to do. I realized I made a gigantic mistake on this campaign, and Tyler was like, "Hey, man, don't worry about it. I got this, man." It kind of reminded me of Pulp Fiction. Remember when they called that guy in Pulp Fiction to fix the murder that they did in the car? What was that guy's name? What was his name on that movie?
I don't remember.
It wasn't it the tiger or something? Just called the tiger. No, the wolf. Remember, it was the wolf.
yeah, you guys call me
And
the
I-
wolf now.
Yeah, Tyler is the wolf, man. I said,
Wolf of
Tyler.
Wall Street.
Yeah, I want to be
said,
the wolf.
I was like, Tyler, I just murdered some guys, man. Help me out. I don't know what to do. Tyler said, don't worry about it. You get you some bleach, get you some napkins, and it'll be all right, man. And I was like, wow, I never thought about that.
I like the napkins part.
Yeah.
No, Vadel, he like messaged me and I read it and I was like, oh no, we got to solve this.
I know, man. You helped me, man.
We gotta solve this
man,
now.
You helped me.
That's what it's
You
all about.
helped
Those
me.
creators helping creators. We're not out like if someone's out there drowning, we're not like, ha ha. Good luck.
Yeah, when I will say when I saw that the DM from you, I was like, this is not good. It's kind of funny
Yeah,
though,
man.
but it's not good. But it's kind of funny, but it's not good.
Man, you saved me, man.
No,
You
we're
saved
good.
me. I owe you 1,000,000 times over for that.
You're
man.
good. Well, I'm excited. I'm excited to back this comic. It's 32 pages, guys, of high quality, action packed manga style art. And you're on tour right now, Jay. You promoting this book? Are you promoting this heavily on your own channel?
I've been promoting this like a madman. I reached 2K tonight. Oh man, that made me feel so good. And I just really love this comic book community, man. People just been helping me out, showing me suggestions. And I'm not the type of person who's arrogant and not take correction or constructive criticism. Hey, tell me what I'm doing wrong. Tell me how to make the right step. I'm going to listen to you.
Jay, do you have a digital tier on there?
Do I have what?
Like a single digital tier where people can just back you on a digital level? I didn't
Yeah.
see that.
I had that and wasn't nobody buying. Do you think I need to put that back up?
Yeah, keep that on there because that's a
Yeah.
great entryway. So you're gonna have a lot of people that just don't do physical. Keep the digital, and just because people aren't buying it there, when you go into Man and stuff, that's a great entryway. Even if you just do it like $5, $7, people that are just want to check it out or just like for me, I can't do physical anymore because my kids destroy half my stuff because I got 5 kids to feed. So the digital ends up being kind of my way to support you, and then I can go and back multiple ones. No, digital is a great entryway because someone that backs
Gotcha.
you on a digital could come back for a physical on your next round.
I'm
And-
putting it up
and I'm-
thank Thank you, sir.
Good, good.
Yeah,
I just
awesome.
got
Yeah.
my first digital purchase like 2 days ago, so my campaign's been out for like 2 weeks. So yeah,
Yeah.
I would recommend keeping it.
Yeah,
Definitely have it on there.
I'm the same thing with Nicholas. Like, I bought my Rags book, and my kid just immediately went and like ripped the cover, and I went, "Well, there goes that." So, yeah, I buy a lot of digital. I buy a lot of digital too. All right, sweet guys. Scott, the question: do you create something based on your creativity and passion, or do you create something that will be commercially successful, or both?
I will say both, only because if you're passionate about your book and passionate about your project, you're going to be commercially successful. Like for instance, Todd McFarlane with Spawn, he went in an entire different direction with comics, and now he's like doing it's the year of Spawn right now. So there's like all these creators that are working on this book with him, and he's just doing so well with like the toys that he makes and his. I think if you're very passionate and you're very creative and really want your project to do well, it shows in your work, and I think it's going to bring the success. Like that's probably like my take on that question. Because
Do you think so? Like I always think of Larry, our friend Larry of Niobe Comics, and for the last let's just say 8 years of him really doing comics, he has like pounded out Niobe. That sounded bad. He has been really going. Sorry.
Someone's gonna
Crap.
clip that, and it's just gonna be that one.
Dang it! I'll see you guys.
I'll take over now. So here on Drawn Talk, we're gonna talk about.
He. My future's not bright. I have to take these glasses off.
We're losing viewers, guys.
I know. He has he's really I was gonna say hammered. He's really focused. Let's say
you
focused. He's really focused on Niobe. Like you think of Larry, it's immediately you think of Niobe. And like that's his branding, that's his baby.
Yeah.
Like it's all about Niobe. And that's the same thing with Todd. Like he like Spawn. Like I'm just doing Spawn. But what if like and now like 6-7 years later, like Niobe's really picking up steam now. I'm excited for the next campaign. I don't know, like for me, I always commend Larry. I'm always like, Larry, good job doing 6 years of that, because I would have been like, I got to find something new. What do you guys think? Like, would you guys think, oh, I have to make something new, or would you stick to that?
Tyler, real
one
quick, I
go.
need to say something real fast.
I'm ready.
Something real fast before I forget, man. Ninja Blast, a lot of Tyler, you get a lot of credit for Ninja Blast, man, because I'm telling you, over the summer, I was watching your video on how to write a comic book script,
Oh,
and
thanks.
yeah, man,
My
and
future's
then
bright
you
again.
look- and then look at the Look at the letters. Look at the when you go down, scroll down. Look at the lettering.
Oh yeah.
You play a part in that. You know who did that for me?
You guys, that's our boy Muttman.
The Mutt Man did that. you connected us together, man.
Well, I love it, dude.
So you know what? You have a stake in that, man. You know?
Dude, I'm an early investor then.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I love that. I love though that you grab Muttman because he's a really you guys know Muttman? Awesome, just family guy. They create. I think they're working on Hero right now. There we go. Where is it? Jason Mutt. I love it. Love man. Oh, I appreciate you saying that. You know, a lot of people find me from that very first video, that how to write a comic book script. It's my most watched video. It's also like my worst video, but it's also my most watched video. Massive Panda, $5. Thank you so much. Tyler ripped his Rags comic on purpose so he'd have to order another copy, the uncensored version this time with the boobs and all. No shame, Tyler. Oh man, yeah, I got the censored version so I could appease my wife and my So thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Here we go. All right. Well, then since you're thanking me, Jay, I want to thank you. When I went on your stream and you did someone did a super chat and you did a bunch of you did really cool clips when you did your super chats. I was like, I like that. I'm gonna steal that. So I stole that from you. I stole that from you.
Nah, man, we ain't stealing. We just trading off. You know.
That's awesome. So yeah, do you stick with that same property for 6 years if it's not working out? Like Larry's stuck it out for 6-7 years now. He's finally getting traction. Do you stick it out? Like Scott, how long do you keep doing the flock?
Well, it depends on how much you've invested into it. Like Niobe is Larry's life, and the flock is going to be soon for me because I've written all these stories and written all the, these different books. We're at 3 books at the moment, but I have a story I want to tell with these characters. Like I spent so long creating these characters. I spent hours trying to find their flaws and trying to figure out how to overcome difficulties and stuff. So it would be a hard thing to do, but I don't think I want to, as a creator, I don't want to stick with one series. I mean, I write down ideas. I have a book that has a bunch of different series that one day I'd like to do. I want to do standard floppies, but maybe someday I'll do a digital comic. You never know. So keeping your mind out there, try to do more than one thing would be very helpful for yourself in the career.
What about you, Nicholas?
So to preference though, I don't think we have the choice when something that we've created goes commercial. That's the audience taking it and going, we love it so much, it's now ours. I think at one point, I want to use the analogy of Ninja Turtles again. Those guys created it from a joke of Daredevil and brought it in, and it's like, hey, it's a silly thing. And so many people loved it, they said it's ours now. And it's become this mainstream thing.
I did not put that connection until you just said that.
Okay.
The
hand, the foot.
Yeah,
the hand, the foot. Think about the splitters.
Yeah.
The ooze.
And basically, the Turtles originate within the Marvel Universe, but stem outside of it. But you have to start with passion. You have to start with something you want. Because if you're purposely trying to make something successful, a commercial-like property, people can read through that. It's thin, it's veiled, it's shallow, it's hollow. I want to use the example of, think of those 90s boy bands. You had NSYNC, 90 Degrees, Backstreet Boys, and they were targeted towards a certain audience, and they were manufactured to sell to certain people. Now, they garnered their audience, but it was a manufactured, machine-made thing. You can always tell because there's this dichotomy to it that doesn't resonate with everyone. But when you come in with a fashion, you can touch upon certain cornerstones. I'm not saying that the manufactured side doesn't do that, but it's going to have a different heart. It's going to have a different heartbeat. It's going to go and hit people in a different sense. Like you can tell when something has been manufactured. Like you go to a store compared to when you go to an Etsy store and you've gotten something handcrafted. You're going to be like, this is individually made for me. Now, then again, the preference here, at some point, it goes outside right hand. It's whether you want to sell it to the person, like, oh, hey, Nickelodeon is going to buy this for me. I want to go further with it. But to tangibly say though, for me creating, I started with the passion first. Demon Hunter Raven is very much my story because I've soaked so much myself into it that to detach myself from it would be like basically a part of me dying, because Demon Hunter Raven was very much in the same sense of James O'Barr's The Crow. I built it out of tragedy, out of trauma, and instead of yelling and screaming at my family and my kids and just punching random people on the street because I was so angry, I just did it in a comic instead. So
much better way. Much better way.
yeah. I'm a nice person on stream, but outside of the stream, I'm kind of an angry, belligerent a-hole. So,
well, you got 5 kids to feed, so
and they are very much annoying sometimes. But no, I love them to death. But
5 kids to beat.
Oh no.
No. But yeah, no, like. But what you said though is like you have this you got to have the passion first for the story you're telling, because like you can tell like when something is corporate, like immediately corporately made. You're like, oh, this is checking all the boxes.
Yep.
And then you can see if it's passion first. You can then say, they always say, oh, they sold out. Yeah. Oh, they're sellouts. To me, when I go, well, I'm like, well, wouldn't you do the same thing? Like, wouldn't you sell out so you could get that TV show, so you could get that video game?
And I think most creators don't understand the idea behind a contract. You hear about so many of them that got beat by the contract and they lost all the rights and the creativity, and now they're just like, well, maybe I'll be an onboard consultant for it. And you'll hear about the rare few occasions where the writer, like very few people understand that Wonder Woman doesn't get a prominent place in the DC universe because the creator originally, way back in the day, was able to instill certain rights upon Wonder Woman's character so that she has to be in certain places. She had to be a main lead if she was appearing in a book. She couldn't be behind someone. She had to be in the forefront. And the Milestone characters as well.
I was right about to say that. That's like Status Shock.
Yeah,
they
have to be. They have to be in a certain manner. They have to be presented whenever they're shown or displayed. The percentage of the money or money goes back to the creators. So again, but that's also why you don't see them as often, because DC is like, well, why would we go and pay them when we can just take the money? So
people ask about Status Shock all the time because they think that's DC. That's not DC.
It's not. It's Milestone. It's an imprint within inside of it. Like Jim Lee can use all of his Wildcats, Grifter, and all those characters because he's established within DC. He can take a cut right out of it. So again, it's understanding your creative rights, that if someday you ever get into a point where you have the ability to argue for that stuff, just understand you're probably not going to get as much visibility from the company because they don't own the rights. They're going to put you on the back burner and be like, well, we're not going to mess with you as much.
Exactly. Jay, what are your thoughts on like Ninja Blast? Like, you're passionate, you have a story to tell. Let's say you have like 10 issues planned, but like after the 3rd one, it's just not going. Do you continue making the book because you love it, or do you just go, man, like this I just can't keep putting money into this thing that's not getting any return or readers? What are your thoughts?
That's a tough question because, like Scott said, man, you put your heart and your soul into these books, and it's kind of shattering if it flops like that. But I don't know. I seriously, I don't know, because that's your baby. That's your baby. Do you give up on your baby, or do you let your baby go? Do you try it? I think what I would do, I would keep putting out books, but then at the same time, I will work on something different.
Yeah.
That's the only way I could think of doing it, is still work on the book, but work on something different and try to not sell out, but try to figure out what the fans want.
Yeah.
Broaden your audience, get more people in, because they're going to be wanting to read your work. And then you're going to be like, hey, I got this series that's already been out, boom, got more sales.
But also to give it to flip it around, as let's say you've spent a year pushing this thing together and you've created it. You spent a year and you've come out to 20 pages and you go up to everyone, here's this thing I spent a whole year on. And everyone turns around and goes, sucks. Do you then turn around and go, oh, I spent a year on it though? Do you then continue with that same path? Because I will tell you right first, and I stood in that same spot. I spent a year creating something, put it out there, and everyone went, that freaking sucks, man. And so I think there needs to be a counterbalance of, you can have as much passion as you want on everything you're working on, but then you need to also look back of, how do I then make this for other people? Because you can love it yourself just as much as anyone else. But if no one else likes it, then you're just creating for one person. So then that has to, again, preference, who are you creating for? Are you just creating for yourself? Then don't even show it to people.
And that's weird because you mentioned Peter Lord and Kevin Eastman.
Yeah.
Ninja Turtles was a parody because they was working on the comic before that, Futoid, right? The robot.
Yeah, Fugitoid, yeah.
Fugitoid.
And that thing sucked.
It sucked. But the parody was the one that worked out for them. And now Kevin Eastman, I don't think he has anything to do with the Turtles anymore. I know
he's directly involved. He's just a consultant on the side. He gets a lot of gigs through him. He's currently
I know Kevin Eastman. I mean, not Kevin Eastman. Peter Lard. He got the real cut
gone.
though.
Yeah, he's gone.
But, I mean, it just works. Sometimes it works out like that. Like you work hard on this, but then you do something else, and boom, it shoots off.
Well, it's kind of like if you look at Tim Lim and Mark Pellegrini, their thing was Black Ops. They were really going hard on Black Ops, but every now and then they would put out a 20-page issue of Wall Might or My Hero Macadamia. And then people were like, hey, we like that side character, the Warhen. And they were like, oh, really? And so then they put like a 2-pager thing out there in their next book. And they're like, about Common America. She was in that one. And they're like, oh, like we really like that character. So they went, oh, let's make a character on her. She wasn't what we originally had in mind. Make the comic blows up. So yeah, like sometimes it's what you're not expecting.
And then that begins into the realm of clout chasers, because that's like what YouTube and those viral like TikTokers kind of fall into, is they're seeking to gain fame through clout chasing and doing ridiculous things, that we can fall into this epitome of we're doing things solely for the commercial success and viability of it. But I think at that point they had a fan base that they could react to that sort of sensibility that many of us maybe are starting at a stage where we don't have that ability to do that. We're just simply building, and the passion has to be there. So then the question becomes, are you serving a need, or are you still fulfilling your passion at the end of it?
Mm-hmm. And I'd probably say that they are doing both. A lot of this conversation, guys, actually came because Nicholas told me to read Bakuman. But this is something. So the two kids who are trying to like make it big, they're like, is my series going to even be good? And their editor goes, you have to assume that the series will become popular if you intend to work on it. Unless the manga artist believes that the work he is creating is good, it will never really be good. Believe that other people out there enjoy reading your work, enjoy their enjoyment, and you'll strive to create something they'll enjoy even more. But you have to have that passion.
Yeah.
Because if you don't believe in it already, it's going to go to poo-poo.
I want to go to an earlier thing that they say in the book. When they're talking about the uncle, this won't spoil anything if you guys haven't read it, and I recommend this highly to any creator that wants to get in, is they talk about the gamblers and the those that succeed. And he says, no one knows how they're going to make it. No creator walks in going, this is going to be successful. Because I've created things and I go, this will be successful. And then no one went for it. And then I created something completely random and people loved it. And the idea behind the book is what they're talking about is there's always gamblers, people that are just making stuff. And then suddenly you'll have that one person that cashes out. They make that big money at the end. But like the cards were always against them, or they didn't know who was going to come across that. It was random. Now, certain people obviously have the knack for it. You have the people that are unrelentless. They just keep going until they finally hit it. And those are different paradigms of it. I mean, like, who would have said that One Piece some 10 years ago would be at its substantial point that it is right now? It's because it struck a chord with people. Did he know that back when he was first putting that first chapter together? Did Naruto know that it was going to be this big hit that it was going to be at the time? I mean,
yeah. Well, yeah. It was funny. We were having this discussion because I work for a book publisher, and I'm like, everyone always they call me the grumpy old man at work because I'm like one of the youngest, and I'm just like relentlessly kind of rude during every meeting. I'm like, wrong. But like someone in our meeting was like, yo, like we should just, when we print books, we should just how we're printing books right now, like how we're making them at our publishing, is we're just throwing up noodles on the ceiling and hoping one of them sticks. And when the head person said that, I went, I'm sorry, what did you just say? And he goes, yeah, we just publish, anything, and hopefully one of it sticks. I went, that's why none of our books are doing well. And
that's the job of the editor, to pick apart that stuff.
Yeah, and we're too small to do that. And so they're like, well, what do you mean, Tyler? I was like, let's see what's trending. Like I was like, guys, last week I brought in a list of books that are trending. make these books. Find people to make these books. We don't have to. You as a creator don't really have to like.
Yeah.
But when it comes to indies, though, you might need to throw a noodle up and see, oh, is this going to hit? This is another thing is, this is the two types of artists or the two types of creators. Yeah. One is the type of person who draws what they want to draw, to put it in rather negative terms. They're the ones who rely on natural instinct, or in positive terms, they're the genius types. So we'll just say this is the straight up passion person. And then the other is the type of manga artist like you who creates a hit through calculation. And the one who has the potential of creating a smash hit is the non-calculating person.
And you can really kind of say that Stan Lee and Jack Kirby fell into that same paradigm of they were just creating stuff because that was their job. Like Stan Lee created Spider-Man out of just a simple passion and will that he didn't like. It's the last thing I'm going to do. Look at where Spider-Man is now. I mean, like your grandma knows about Spider-Man and stuff like that.
Well, look at like Rags. Anytime I hear Brian talk about Rags, he's just like, yeah, we were just having fun one night.
Yeah.
And we're just like, like, what if this happened? What if this happened? And then they made it, and now it's, Rags is really successful. They have a really
that's a
awesome
dope book too.
It is.
But that's also, there's another paradigm in there is knowing your audience. They knew who to direct it to and who to, I mean, they weren't going out to certain groups and being like, all right, this certain group's going to love it. Like they knew who this book was being made for and who to go after. I mean, there's so many military vet jokes in there that I was talking to Brian one day and he's like, did you get that? I'm like, I'm not in the military. I don't understand that at all. You're going to have to speak that. He's like, all right. And then he started showing me diagrams and stuff. And I was like, holy cow, that's a really complicated joke. But to them in that circle, that is an absolute.
Like, what? Yeah, I was reading and I was like, I don't get that. Next page.
The green weenie thing went over my head. I was like, cool, okay, yeah.
Right. But that's also important, like for all of us as creators to. We got delicate art. Why you got to hit me with all these facts? Thank you so much for being here. You have to know your audience.
Yeah.
Like one thing that I think that like Marvel and DC right now, they're having an identity crisis. They don't know who their audience is right now. They don't know who they're trying to market to, and I think it's hurting everyone who's trying to get in those books.
That's because they're not marketing anymore. They want to tell you something. They want to get on a pedestal and there are some books, and also they have tried to change their demographic of who they're selling to. It's just they didn't transition correctly. They didn't pivot. They just went, we're going to go this way now. Yeah. And they just went, everyone else off the back just went flying off,
Yeah. Whereas, like, I love that in Japan, Shonen Jump.
Yeah.
This is for boys. This is for girls.
Yeah. Well, that's because comics is still an embarrassing medium to a large portion of our society over here. We don't have that we have a stigma over here still.
Did you watch that Perch video? I know you watched that Perch video.
Which one? Because the
latest one where about the manga on the train and they'd pass it out and
I saw the picture and
it was a video. It came with a video, but it was just talking about how, like in Japan, businessmen will grab the latest issue and read it on the train on their way to work. Like,
but there's another thing in there too, is that they are printed on newspaper things. You get 100 pages for 99 cents. It's made like a magazine. Like they never walked away from have another manga. Read this, and they're throwing it at you continually because they're not giving you these really high quality cardstock, glossy polyfoil covers for $5 for 10 pages, and you're like, oh, I'm done.
It's meant to be read and then thrown in the trash.
Exactly. Yeah, and it quite literally is. It's meant to be reusable as toilet paper in some cases for some people.
You're right, because manga writers and artists, they get paid like somebody at McDonald's.
Yeah,
it's not good.
Yeah. So it's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad. Yeah. Because they have to pump it out continuously. Well, and if you get into the anime industry, the animation part, they talk about per a frame, which is per a second when you're seeing like each emotion going across. Each sheet that they draw is what they'll make per an hour. So if they draw 5 frames, they maybe made $20 that hour. They have to continuously keep up that mode. So again, there's certain things that we don't want to adopt that they're doing because they're churning out stuff so fast that there's such a large demand now that they're just like, we're going to pay you pennies.
Yeah,
we need this stuff up.
It's like a sweatshop for artists.
Yeah, but then we're the high premium.
And it's crazy too, because I like to watch documentary on certain manga artists and stuff. Those guys have nervous breakdowns all the time because they constantly got to pump up stuff. Because sometimes when they drop a book, they got to do bi-monthlies when it comes to books.
Yeah. The Bakuman artist was
the guy. He goes to the hospital. I loved that.
Yeah.
And they were and they're like, stop drawing, and he was like, no, I'm not gonna. But
I have to get stuff out tonight.
yeah, so it was cool to see like the competitive side of it, but also just the fact that, you know, spoilers, you'll find this in the first like chapter. His uncle died out of exhaustion, of just constantly creating. He goes to the hospital out of that. Yeah, it's nuts. I'm realizing, guys, we're at 44 minutes in, having such a silly goose time talking with you guys. But let's get into something that's also kind of silly goose, and the flock.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Scott, tell us about the flock. Hell yeah.
So hell yeah. The Flock is a project I'm running on Kickstarter right now. It's as it says on the page, it's a Golden Age inspired comic, full of action, and it's printed in modern, but it's also an all ages book. So I'm targeting for anyone can read the book. It's very fun read. It's really enjoyable. It's for free. The first issue's for free to read online. You can get on Global Comics, and then if you like what you read, you can get the colored version, which is what this campaign is for. And it's just a great book. I love working on it. It was like a project like you guys said earlier, conversation at night. I just, was drinking a cup of coffee and just came up with the idea of a superhero in the 50s and making it feel like it's in the 50s. So like all the art has to be that era, all the technology, there's no cell phones. And I was able to work with an artist and get the book done. We have 3 titles for $25 plus shipping, and they're all 24 pages. So really cool stuff.
What did I get?
You got the early one. You got the first day.
Hell yeah. I'm like, wait, no. Okay, I was like, what did I get then?
But yeah, so that it was early Goose Gets the Worm. It was $20 plus shipping, and then went to 25. We got 5 variant covers. I went in going for 4, but we ended up getting 5, so it was pretty sick. This is one of the greatest covers. It's made by Nicholas and colored by Dan Olvera. We've got Niobe, Violet, and Gooseman. And I forget the cover we were kind of swapping. I forget which cover that was.
It's Danger Girl.
Danger Girl.
Yeah.
Issue 1.
But yeah.
By Scott Campbell.
But yeah, it's a fun story. The first issue, it's for free, and it's been out since December. The only thing I'll tell you on it is like to tell you how fun the story is. It's a maple syrup heist because there was a maple syrup heist in Canada that cost Canada $60 million in real life. So I just played with that idea and went with the story, and it was just really fun to write. And
I'm excited for that because that's the story that was the story from Ms. Maple Volume 2. The chefs was that that heist, so you beat me to it.
Nice.
I like this dynamic shot of like, him. He's just doing some weird backflip and having fun. Like it's always, having kids. Like if my kid were to go, Dad, can I read a comic? There's not a lot of comics on my bookshelf. I'd be like, let's. Yeah, what are we gonna give you? But I'd be real. I'd feel real safe. Just be like, yeah, here you go. Read this. Have a silly goose time. Get out. So yeah. Oh, we got C Dome 13 says the Flock is hilarious. It's been very enjoyable to watch Scott work on this project. No, I dig that.
Thanks.
So let's see. How many more days do you have left? You're still on tour. Everyone here is still on tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, 15 more days to go. Guys, can we get this man to just halfway today? Can we do that? Let's go. This is if we got 3 awesome creators who are putting passion into their projects. This stream is all about passion and stuff. We've got the Flock. You're getting 3 issues. Go check it out. The first issue is free. And if you like that first issue, you can get issues 2 and 3. Are you also gonna do an Indiegogo afterwards?
Yes, I'm gonna do but that's after everything's all set together. I'll probably do like a short campaign, maybe like 10 days or something like that, or like a week. We'll see, depending on how things go. Because I like it all my shipping and everything done like all at once. Like I don't want to drag it out.
Hell yeah! All right, sweet. And then we also got. We got Demon Hunter Raven.
Oh
Hell
man,
yeah.
not this book.
Not this book. Hey, I
this
am
thing
so
again.
excited. I already have the first 3 issues technically, and I backed the book because I wanted it in paperback. So I'm excited.
That is gonna be it's gonna be awesome.
Is this the cover?
Yeah, that was done by Stephen Cummings, who is the artist of Marvel's Champions and Jim Zub's Wayward.
Such a good book, by the way. Wayward.
Yes, Wayward actually has a little bit of inspiration. So when I was able to touch base with him and get the guy that actually inspired a lot of my creativity for this book, I was like, yeah, let's come full circle on that. That's awesome.
That's amazing.
I have a
Yeah,
question
know
then.
That's really cool.
I have a question about this cover then. Did he ink it or did he just send you pencils and did you darken them?
He inked it. He
Okay,
inked it.
because I
Yeah.
know because with Wayward they only did pencils because Jim couldn't afford him to ink it, and so then they had to darken his
I won't
pencils.
give his rates or anything because.
Oh yeah, no.
No.
I just thought that was that when I read that. That's why Entity isn't inked, is because I read Jim Zub. I was like, oh, Jim Zub did it. Now he clearly knew how to do it really well.
Yeah.
Because I just hit like darker and I just kept making it darker. But yeah, no, these lines are crisp. That's cool that you got him.
Yeah, and we talked quite a bit back and forth, and his style is perfect for what we're doing with this series, and I would love to work with him again in the future. He's currently working on Young Squadron, so he's currently not available for anything, but
That's
obviously the door is
awesome.
open.
Jeff Weber in the house. Jeff, welcome to the show. We're answering this question just because Jeff is an awesome creator and I always love Jeff in the comments. Let us know what you think. Do you create something based on your creativity and passion, or do you create something that will be commercially successful, or do you try to do both? Now, Nicholas and Nicholas, Scott, and Jay, we've all established that before you can even get anything commercially popular, you gotta put passion in this. You clearly, this is cool.
Yes,
That was cool. You
Brian
got Louis
connected with me, and we were able to put this together. So this is the first time that Rags, Sailor Rogowski, and Raven have met up, and if we hit $7,000, this will become a print that everyone will get. This will go over to Indiegogo, so we'll continue, and if we hit some goals over there, everyone will still get it, regardless.
I like that.
So,
That's
Is
gonna
that
be
done
on
by
my wall.
Luigi?
yeah.
Nice.
I got very fortunate on this campaign.
You've been
yeah,
sharing
yeah.
out. You've been sharing out this image a lot.
Yeah,
I
this
love
is
it. This is a
a
good
lot
shot.
of fun. I've been trying to get more dynamic with my stuff and just kind of get stuff popping more. And I really want to capture more of that anime aesthetic when you're watching an anime show. Things are moving, the kineticness behind it, and I really want to display that because you're going to pay a certain amount for this. I want you to enjoy it just as much as I'm having fun with it. So I want to give you I want you to feel like you're stealing from me. Hopefully, I accomplish that in the end. So
Now, look, Nicholas, I have a question though. Like,
That's my
it's a
mom.
no.
you're coloring your other previous issues. Did
Yeah.
you, when you're going into doing that, are you
Oh, that
changing
sucked.
anything? Are you changing any of it? Any of the panels?
No.
Nothing. You're just coloring it.
No,
That's it.
just leaving it as is. I'm just going in and
Okay.
trying to color it as
Yeah.
best, but it still remains
Yeah.
that raw sort of. So you see the artistic growth. I did
Yeah.
ask that. I said, is there any point in me going back and redoing stuff? And they're like, no, they love seeing the artistic growth. So
Yeah.
for me, it hurts because I hate it, but it.
I think that's really every artist should in some way keep it for to show the growth because you can see how much they've developed and that's how their audience grows. Following them from
Right.
when they were,
Charlie Adler says that if you don't see improvement from like volume like 10 to like the final Walking Dead one, then he's like, I failed as an artist because I
Right.
didn't improve.
Right.
So what's the story of Demon Hunter Raven?
So it starts out with this young kid. Him and his dad are walking, and his dad is going to be explaining to him about the supernatural world that he's experiencing. Adam has grown up with the ability to see demons, ghosts, and whatever at a very young age, and it's plagued him. He's become bullied. He's been ridiculed. So he just learned to kind of hide it and act like it's not there. Well, his dad's going to start showing him and telling him like, well, hey, that stuff you're seeing is real. You're not some sort of freak. It's not an accident. And as he's about to give him all these answers, they're ambushed by actual demons. And in the process, he is disconnected from his father. And his father hands off this thing called the Light Relic. And it's a supernatural entity thing that it forms this power suit, this lightning suit across him. So it's a powerful entity relic. And it fuses to him, it merges to him, it's stuck on him. And he ends up getting saved by this paramilitary troop, part of the church called the Order. And they end up training him and teaching him how to use it. And they induct him into the Demon Hunter sort of group. And so he goes out and starts hunting demons with other people. Along the way, he meets new allies. So now we're up to chapter 3, where he has gotten with new allies, and we're going to be coming across this antagonist that's been in the background the whole time, called the Coven. And they're a group of witches that have been kidnapping people who might be actually behind the disappearance of his father, and have been going around kidnapping people. And they're going to be doing this they're looking to do a blood sacrifice to unleash this thing called the Nocturnal Moon across the city. What it is, what it does, they don't know yet. All they know is they've got to stop it, because it just means absolute.
Man,
Terrible
Nicholas,
thing for them.
I wish that we had known each other when I was doing my demon series.
Yeah.
Cause like I'm like, man, cause I love doing that supernatural stuff, and like
It's fun. It's
yeah,
fun.
I gotta play around in like Luke Cooper. He does Hollow Girl, so like
Yeah.
he let me take her character, and like we were able to put our both characters in our own worlds and stuff. Did
Yeah.
you draw this? I've been meaning to ask you.
I did not. I hired someone, and I'm not directly directing people to him, because he's doing an extreme amount of not safe for work material. So
I got you. I saw
I will
this.
give
and I
you
was
the
like, I
contact
did.
off stream as to who
You're
it was,
good.
but no,
You're
I didn't
good.
draw that.
No, I dig this. I thought I saw this and I was like,
Yeah, so that is the head witch. Her name is Arabella. She's a cult calculating sadistic witch. She's in the background. She's the one that is trying to unleash the Nocturnal Moon across the city. She's going to play a huge part on this. And then I have a side. There's going to be I have a standard version of Chapter 3, which is just the main 68 pages. And then if you get the deluxe version of Chapter 3, there's going to be an additional 32
that's what I got,
pages.
right?
Yep, that's what you got.
Okay, good.
It's going to have it's only going to have the extra chapters. It doesn't come with the previous volumes, the previous chapters in it. So that doesn't come with the collected the recolorings of the Chapter 1 and Chapter 2.
This doesn't?
This doesn't. So that's
Shit. Which one? Okay, stop.
So-
I'm unpledging and I'm getting something else. Which is the one that has the
you want the
colorings?
you want the $70 one.
Okay, fine.
So Red Valkyrie and Psy on their channel helped me out immensely, because I'm digging my toes into merchandising and trying to figure out how to sell this stuff better, to create a more better quality product. And I was really bad at naming and getting this stuff clarified.
I will say on the first day I was so confused.
Yeah, it was bad. So I will take a lot of flack for that.
You're
And
good. I was like, get all 3 issues, and I was like, okay, wait, what's this? Wait, it says get all 3 issues though.
Of Chapter 3.
Oh, 'cause-
so there's a part in there. Ignore the side. Go off of the pictures, because I had to redo everything. I can edit that because it's in real time now.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, there you go. Chapters. Okay, and I got you
so
now.
they help me with branding and naming and categorizing it better. So when it goes up on Indiegogo, that will not be there anymore. But
You're good.
yeah, I messed up bad.
No, you're good. You're good. Regardless, guys, I'm still gonna go and back this. I already backed it. So, guys, go check this. Go check out Demon Hunter Raven. There's so many add-ons. You can also get this cover as well. You guys can whore out on the flock. Is it just gonna be this blank, or will one version say the flock and another version say Demon Hunter?
Each one
Raven?
also have our logos on that particular one.
If you get all 3 guys, you guys will summon. You guys will. If you guys put all 3 of those books together, you guys will summon whatever.
Larry will
Nicholas
actually come
and-
out of the books and give you more Niobe copies. Here's another variant. Here's another variant.
That's awesome, guys. So, guys, go check this out. The artwork's really great. It's a really awesome story. Guys, go check out the links in the description. I'm going to put the link in the chat as well. Guys and gals, I always say guys, go check out The Flock. Go check out Ninja Blast. We have 3 awesome creators here who've got passion, who are killing it. They're all marketing hardcore. Fatal, you do videos so fast. I don't know how. Like Zack Snyder would be like, "Here's a teaser," and then like 10 minutes later, "Yo, it's Fatal J, and we're gonna be reacting to this." And I'm like, "How did he know? How did he do this so quick?"
You want to know a secret?
You have the thumbnail ready? You're like, "What's the secret?"
All right, this is the secret. My internet is trash where I live. So I record, and while I'm recording, I'm driving and editing. And then by the time I make it to my parents' house, because they have lightning fast internet, everything is done. So that's how I operate.
So you're editing while driving.
It's
Impressive.
very dangerous.
Very.
dangerous. But it works.
Go. That's funny you say that, because one of your videos you were reacting while you were in your car.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're quick. You are quick though. I'm always shocked. I'm like, gosh, you had a video out so quick because it's all about capitalizing on that. If you're gonna react, you got to be one of the first.
Fast. You have to be fast because if you don't beat the bigger channels, your views going to be low.
When they did the Batwoman, the first season trailer, I was one of the first people that did it, so it got like massive views. But if you look at my analytics, everyone stopped watching my video after the first 10 seconds because I showed like the clip and I went, ugh, lesbians, and then it went to the reaction, and I looked at the analytics, and everyone was like, we're not watching this anymore. So I lost everyone within 10 seconds of my reaction video. I love lesbians, by the way. I love everyone. I commended them for doing all this stuff. I just thought I'd make a lesbian joke, and
it didn't work.
It did not work. So I was like, I looked at the analytics and I went, so we won't be doing that again. Like we won't be doing that again.
But I'm sorry, man. That Batwoman show is horrible. Oh man,
lesbians.
Who's even watching it besides the people that want to criticize it?
I know.
Yeah,
I
got a friend that reviews those just to nitpick at it. He hates it.
So he's one of the people that are keeping it alive. That's so funny though, that the people who hate it are probably what's keeping the show going.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
Jeff says passion. If I'm not 100% into it, I don't have the energy to even do it. Yeah, and like when you're not passionate about something, and as a creator when you've fallen off of that passion. I think I had a crime comic book that I drew the first 24 pages in a month, like penciled, colored, inked it, lettered it, and I was like, I love this book so much. And I did the same thing with the next chapter, and then by the third issue I was like, I don't care anymore, and I just never finished it because that passion was gone. Mm-hmm. So if you don't have passion, you can't do anything. Zumi, welcome Zumi. Zumi's in our Discord. I had a hard time with the last comic of my miniseries, and for some reason I lost the drive for it. So now I simply rebooted it, and I'm trying to do something different with it through Webtoons. Webtoons is kind of with that Bakuman thing we were talking, Nicholas.
Yeah,
about
Tyler,
how,
can you explain that? Because
what's up?
Webtoons, that's the new thing that's supposed to pop off.
It's already popped. It's already popped off.
It's been going for a while.
I've been hearing about Webtoons for the longest, but
it's already popping off. I mean, look at these reads: 20 million, 3.5 million, 5 million, 43 million, 34 million, 2 million. People are already reading on here. I actually, let's see. If you go in, how to be a featured Webtoon creator, they literally tell you how they do it on their website. Hold on.
It's like a gigantic filler episode every single episode. Like there's just conversations.
Oh yeah, it's just long,
then it's done. Then the next one, it continued the conversation. Then they finally get to the destination. Like the fourth comic.
I got you, because I went on the website like that. I saw a cool manga. It was I think it's called Topaz or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Tapiz.
Yeah.
And that's exactly how he described it. It was just like a filler episode, and then it went to the next one.
Well, it's interesting that because like I'm reading one called Midnight Populand. They just finished the season, and that's what those conversations do. If you like it, is it makes you get really invested in like those two characters. You go, oh, like because it's all about drama and like the stakes, and you're seeing these people fall out of these relationships, and it gets you invested.
Right.
I saw this. It says, want to get featured? This is what they do. Once a month, the Line Webtoon editorial team gathers to select titles to move from Discover to our featured section. So it's kind of like how they do it with manga, where you got to prove yourself, and then they go, okay, this month, what was on Discover that was hot, and then let's move it over and let's pay these people. And they go, popularity, is 70% of their decision. View counts, likes, comments, ratings. Professionality is 30%, artistry, originality, and productivity. And then, or any creation we just find great and enjoyable. And what you get is you get a monthly compensation and a marketing and PR support.
Wow. I think Shelves will be the perfect fit for Webtoons.
I hope so.
I mean, seriously, man, you made the greatest intro known to man for a comic book.
That video.
It took me back all the way to like the early Naruto's and early.
Oh man.
The early 2000 anime.
Those I like my favorite out of those. I like the English version of One Piece's intro, the ya yo ya yo. And then my favorite one was Shaman King, the Shaman King. I love that intro. Do you not like Shaman King, Nicholas? Do we have to have beef?
I was in high school when that came out, so that was.
It's old.
It is old.
I can't believe they're redoing it, and they're.
Are they rebooting it or continuing it?
Rebooting it.
Rebooting it.
They're rebooting it, but yeah, chefs, and you know. What's interesting is, like, after reading this whole Bakuman thing, I'm going hard on chefs. Like, I'm working every night drawing and stuff. But it's one of those things where, you know, maybe after the 30 episodes we put out, it just didn't get traction. And so that's another part of this discussion. You know, what if you put it all, like you said, Nicholas, you worked for a year on a 20-page comic, and then people go, well, this sucks.
Yeah.
Something that like they talk about in Bakuman that we don't do in Western style comics is we don't do proof of concept.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm actually using this time for chefs as I'm going to put the first book out, and it's going to be my proof of concept. Like, do you guys do people?
That's what I did with Demon Hunter Raven. Is I did a lot of proof of concepts, and I retooled a large portion of it. Like what you see now has been probably redone 12 different times before it became what it is.
Interesting.
Like it was a Webtoons version for a while. Don't go looking for it. Don't look for it. It's not presentable.
But like that is something though I think us creators don't necessarily do. I mean, Scott, you putting out your comic for free, that's kind of a proof of that's kind of a proof of concept.
Yeah.
You know, when we show off pages on Twitter and whatnot, that's a proof of concept. Do people want it or not? And we don't do that very much. It's kind of scary.
That's the hard thing.
Well, also, like, we've mentioned this on previous streams in the past. Like, you know, as creators, we're always asking our audience, "Did you like it? Did you like the book?" Like, there's always that. A lot of the audience doesn't tell you that. They don't tell you whether or not they like it or not. It's just
they will with their dollars.
Yeah, they will with your dollars, of course. But you know, you're asking your audience, did you like it? You got your book. Did you like it? You're like waiting for that review.
But the other half of it though is, do they actually end up reading it? Because like I still have people that back the last one, and they're not backing this one right now because they still haven't read the last one. So it's like you gotta create that at the same time, the traction, and unfortunately in the indie world, it's a lot harder.
And also, it's we live like in a day and age where, like, are they buying the book or are they buying it because they support you? Like you just as a person.
Yeah.
Both are great. But if you really, but if you really are trying to, like, you know, get people to read the book, I mean, Fatal J's got a massive show on YouTube. He's got, whenever people come on, like, whenever Fatal does a live show, he's got like 50, 60 people watching. Are they buying his book though because they like the book, or are they buying the book because they like Jay?
Well, and that's another question though, is setting up your audience of, are they just consuming free content, or are they consuming and actually buying stuff? Because when I first was out there and I was putting out my very first version of Demon Hunter, I had them all set up for just consuming free stuff. I put out a lot of free content, and I put out free books that by the time that I came out and put out something for them to buy, they're just like, no, we're good. We got it. And you're like, no, but you can buy it now. They're like, no, yeah, we've got it. We don't need it. So, and then it's also just testing the water. Like so this could be a whole another conversation, is how do you create demand? How do you create wants? How do you create that need for people to buy your stuff? Because then you start getting into the marketing idea of it. Why do people like what they like? Why do they buy what they want? And that really becomes like an emotional connection. Why did everyone go see Avengers Endgame? Why did people go see Infinity War? Well, it started back at Iron Man. There was a build up to it, and then it's how do you create that want? Because selling, you know, like when if you could go up to a car salesman, you know, what are their tricks to selling you on something? Like, you're obviously there, you're looking to buy something, so it's knowing where to go. and how to entice people into that. And that's a whole entire different conversation. Some boobs and butts rebels and videos. That's how do you sell them boobs and butts? Yes, actually. Yeah.
Oh man.
Unfortunate.
Where are you in Bakuman? Who's your favorite creator in that manga? Oh man, I was telling Nicholas before we started. So today I've been reading it relentlessly at night, and even at like 1 a.m. my wife will like wake and go like, put your phone away. I'm like, no, like I gotta know if they got number one. And so something happened last night because on the Shonen Jump app it'll highlight your last read chapter. Something happened last night, Tim, where I don't know what happened, but on my lunch break I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep reading. And I started reading the story, and the story does a ton of time jumps. So I was like, oh, I guess we're doing another time jump. I have no idea what's going on. And I read like 20 chapters, and then it ended, and I was like, oh, interesting, okay. And then I looked at the app. I had skipped like 80 chapters. So and I don't even know if I want to keep reading, if I want to go back, because I already know the ending, and I cried a little.
No, the ending doesn't matter. It's experiencing.
It's the journey. But I saw Frodo destroy the ring. I know.
But it's the Fellowship of the Ring. You know, it's how you.
I know. I think. But favorite character in Bakuman, I loved the EG. The crazy, just like manga. Because he just did it. But no, I think Hattori, he was the editor guy. I really like the editor guy because he was like, this is what you got to do. Like, this is how you do it. Everyone's saying, how do you create demand? Boobs, butts, and Thanos.
I was into, who was the original artist at the beginning? The guy that he's like, I need to work with you, but the actual artist, I don't remember his name. I always liked his character because as an artist myself, like I could identify with his struggles of being like, I don't want to do schoolwork. I'm going to draw. Oh, no one believes in the dream. I'm just going to draw anyways. Oh, I'm going to get put in this.
Oh, like the real guy? Like the main character?
Yeah, the main character.
Mushirio.
Mushirio something.
Yeah. I also liked that I thought they also like their support system around them all believed in their dream, like their girlfriends.
And that's a different story because not a lot of creators have that. That can be a really.
I mean, my wife is like, another comic book. No, I'm joking. My wife is so supportive of it. The second editor reminds Mark and I of someone we knew whose ideas were god awful. Yeah, I remember.
I'm sorry. I'll stop sending you guys stuff. Okay, I'm sorry.
It's Nicholas. He sucks. I guess one. Okay. Well, now, Nicholas.
I'll just get us. This is what I've been reading lately. Okay, this is hot. This is good. Jujutsu Kaisen. Okay, just throwing that out there.
You brought up the freemium thing though, and now I want to talk about it.
Freemium? Oh, that's a monster of a topic.
I know. We'll have to do that. We'll have to do that a different week because that is a different. Is a whole nother beast of can you actually this girl might have 4 million subscribers on Webtoons and maybe get 200,000 reads or like the likes, but she only got 4,000 of those 4 million, which is like a 1%, which isn't bad. That's $400,000, but
that's just the numbers game. It's like that though,
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it is a numbers game.
How many sales is she doing offsite as well? Like, because not everyone knew that was going on at that time.
Yeah, and I'm one of those people who found out later.
Yeah,
and I remember even messaging you, and then I showed you the interiors, and I was like, this is gross. But I got a refund off the book 3 weeks after they sent it to me.
Oh, really?
So I was like, oh,
yes, I did.
Thank you. So yeah, it's Team Fukuda and
Hiramaru.
I don't remember. I remember.
I'm gonna have to read that book because I hear a lot of people talk about it. Bakuman.
Yeah. Jay, if you read that book, it'll kill you.
If you're like me, just watch the anime. It's on Hulu. I draw and I listen to it.
Oh, okay.
Is it on Hulu?
Yeah.
It's on Hulu. Yeah.
Okay. When you read that, I wish I had read that. I wish there was a place where you go, I'd like to sign up as a new indie creator, and they go, sweet, please read Bakuman first. Yeah. Read Bakuman first, and then if you after you read this, go, because reading that, I was like, I made that decision. And they're like, that's a bad decision. I'm like, it was a bad decision.
Yeah.
And they show you all the bad decisions. And what
It's
the
a
worst
guidebook really for creators.
Yeah. And I
Hey,
hated
with
that I
I
made,
need
Pokemon,
to get
I made them all.
referral payments for that thing now because I've made so many sales for them that I should be getting some extra percentage of it.
What are you saying, Jay?
Now I was just saying with Bakuman, I'm getting Death Note vibes.
It's by those
Is it like-
creators. It's by them.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's actually them, yeah. And they did. So they did Death Note, then they did Bakuman, and then they did Platinum Ends,
okay.
which is getting an anime as well.
Okay, see if the Death Note creators buy it, then now I got to check it out. I got.
Oh,
you.
it's good. It's good. And there's several Death Note jokes in there, and they always call those guys like, "Oh, those idiots did it." all
Yeah,
wrong." It's like, oh gosh.
But what's interesting though with the topic of passion versus like commercial is like throughout the Bakuman thing, they made several series.
Yeah.
And they made several one shots. They did several ideas, and they're like, this one didn't work. Like they'd spend months. Like, hey, we just spent 6 months working on this thing. Okay, it didn't win. Crap. Okay, let's back to the drawing board. Let's make a new story, a new character.
Yeah.
And I guess that in some way that helps you know not to like when I did Demons Volume 1, it did all right. When I did Demons Volume 2, I doubled my sales. So I'm like, oh, I've got something going. And then I did Demons Volume 3 and no one bought it. It did just like the Volume 1. So clearly people didn't like Volume 2. And
That's a hard thing to learn though. Because
yeah. I remember Larry's friend the Wonk was like, Tyler, hold on, I'm gonna do the Wonk's voice. Tyler, I loved that's not even how he sounds. He's like, I loved Volume 1, Volume 2. I was like, thanks. And he goes, Volume 3 was a piece of shit. And I was like, thanks. I'm trying to promote a new book right now. He goes, okay, yeah, you promote that new book, but Volume 3 sucked, man. Like, what was that? And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Which is funny because like I read it and I'm like, this is my peak. This is the best. This is the best Demons story, and everyone's like, nah.
it didn't.
It,
But how do you get that sort of like? How do you do that beforehand? Like, how do you get how? Man, this is a whole another topic. Like, as you're putting out stuff, how do you get that sort of impressions from people? Like, how do you not like? How many of us would not want to put out a Joshua Whedon Justice League and be like, "Oops, my bad." Oops.
yeah. Well,
Like, how do you not step into that?
Well, one thing, like, in that Shonen Jump thing is they have the reader surveys. So you go, you ranked 10th. Crap, we went down 3 places? Yeah, because not as many people liked your story.
Yeah.
So then they'd go, crap, okay, let's rework it so that the next week's chapter...
That's what happened to Bleach. Is Bleach started out really strong, and they got into the Soul Society arc, and then they got into Hueco Mundo, and then people were like, you're kind of treading on the same water here, Taikubo. You know, we're missing it, and it started dropping in popularity. And then he brought in the 1,000-Year Blood War, you know, after some other deliberate, and then something was like, we're back in the game, baby. You know?
Yeah,
people love that.
But us as indie creators, like, I can't be like, okay, you guys didn't like Demons Volume 3, let's do Demons Volume 4, and I'm gonna fix all the problems, because then by then they might be like, well, how do we know this is gonna be?
You've lost your readers. Well, that's okay. That's a whole entire marketing employee. As if you have to create trust again. You have to go out there and sell them on like, hey. So I'm actually going to be blamed. Some people didn't like my story in the first 2, and I heard them. I had some people come back and give me feedback. That's our key right there is feedback. So I hired a writer to be like, hey, I need help because this is the complaints I'm getting. You're a writer. You're a master at this. Let's build this up better. And so that's the kind of feedback is you got to go back and just and reassure those people like, hey, I heard you. I'm gonna do better. I'm gonna bring it back so that it pleases that. And that's also just knowing who to take criticism through and who's your fans. And that's a whole another topic.
Yeah. That is one thing I like about like the webtoon though, is you get those comments.
Yeah.
Like, I really like this. Like, up with my I put the crime one up on webtoons, and like the first chapter I was like, this is the mystery. And then it was just ramping up. I was getting more subscribers. I was getting more likes and comments. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, like this is building up to something. And we built it up and we revealed one of the 2 major things. And so everyone was like, this is awesome. And then I was like, sweet, we revealed this. Now the next 20 chapters are going to focus on a completely new character. And and everyone dropped. Yeah. Everyone's like, because I did that. And then the comments were, who is this guy? And then the next chapter after that, they're like, oh, we're still with him. and the
That
third
can
one's
be
like,
really hard though if you have something that you want to do, like you show that and then you want people to follow through. Like if that's that's another subject here is how to keep people invested in a story and keep them on the hook, and then like do certain things.
Well, I mean, that's why, like, look at Marvel. They're like, we're gonna do a 3. That's why they're like, do so many little mini series.
Yeah,
We're gonna do 4 mini. We're gonna do a 4-issue mini series because we don't know. Fatal, with Ninja Blast, how many issues do you have planned? Do you have if you have like 1 million issues, do you have like an escape route?
Say that last part again.
Do you have an escape route? Meaning, like, let's say you have 10 issues planned, but you see it dropping at like the 3rd issue. Do you have an escape route to complete the story, like maybe in the 4th or 5th issue?
This is the thing about me though, because I kind of got like ADD.
You're like, fuck it, we're doing it.
I plan. My plan is this: after the first issue of Ninja Blast, I have 2 other issues in my head, and then I have an origin story for the sensei and his brother when they was younger. I might can do 3 more after that with another character that's in the book. But if that doesn't work out, I have a closing out I can do after the origins.
Nice.
So I like to keep things short because is there anybody out there who ever read all 300 issues of Amazing Spider-Man?
I mean, I was bored one day.
I read all 300. I read all 327 chapters of Dragon Ball Z.
That's good. That's good.
That's understandable.
Dragon Ball too. Yeah.
But yeah, like, okay, and like, Scott, do you have the same thing? Because it's one of those, like, we're gonna go hard on the series. We have to be passionate. We got to really believe in it. But as indie creators, and which a lot of people are watching right now, I remember talking with the creator, and he goes, I was like, how many issues do you have? And he goes, I got 100. I'm like, really? That's a big number.
Whoa.
And I was like, are they all written out? He goes, at least 60 of them are all fully written out. And I went, damn, okay, that's cool. And he put out the first one. It took him 3 months to draw it. And he put it out, and he's like, what'd you think of it? I was like, oh, it was all right. And he didn't get good reception off the first issue. And I was like, but I told him, I was like, it's still good enough to keep going. Just like fix a couple things. And he's like, but I have 100 issues. I was like, well, make 5. Like, stop. And he wouldn't do it. So he just quit comics in general.
Wow.
Ouch.
It was actually really heartbreaking. I deleted the video. I was like, I gotta delete this. It makes me look really bad. But I was trying to give him love, but it's hard.
Yeah.
Creating comics is hard. Like, Nicholas, you got 5 kids, you're in your basement drawing all freaking day. Scott's moving, got a job. Fatal, you got a YouTube channel, you got a job. I don't know if you got a family, but you got things to do. Making comics
I do.
Yeah.
is hard.
That's a lot of
It's
work.
hard, man. It's hard.
And we got 2.
not a walk in the park.
We got right. Let's see. Where is this? Let's see. There we go. We got writer, artist, writer, soon to be possibly colorist.
Yep.
It's hard. Mason Easton says, I know a guy who has 50 issues planned. It took him 20 years to get to issue 9. He's still working on it.
Jeez.
See, for me, I only have I have 6 issues planned for like I have it set up like seasons, and after the 6th episode per se, it ends on a really good note. Like if going into it ends on a slight cliffhanger, but it's
if you needed to end it there.
Yeah, if I ended it, I could end it there.
Yeah.
You guys familiar with Eric Larson?
Eric Larson? Yeah, Savage Dragon.
Yeah.
Is he at this point just pumping out issues to be the longest running person?
He's just making a porn comic now, actually.
Yeah.
He is, man.
Yeah, that thing's gross. Yeah.
I mean, and it made me think, like, in the back of my mind, he can't. Is his sales? Like, his sales have to be
His
low.
sales aren't good.
No, there's nothing there.
That's what I'm thinking, because it's a porn book now.
Yeah, yeah. No one wants to see little baby dragons get made and him shooting people and
Yeah, because the little The little Asian woman,
She looks like a little kid. Yeah, why doesn't Twitter go ablaze about that? I mean, it looks
Yeah,
like a
and
little kid.
like those and like how he draws them is really gross.
They're graphic.
Yeah, I think, and that's my thing. Just end the book, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just end it because it's getting weird. It's getting disgusting, and that's gonna be his legacy at the end of the day. When
He
he's
is
done
though-
with Savage Dragon.
He is in a position though, probably financially, where he just can
Yeah.
keep pumping
Of
out
course.
a terrible book.
Yeah.
Gosh, if one of us was making Savage Dragon, I'd be like, Scott, dude, quit. No one's reading this. It's disgusting.
The Goose Man has to stop being turned into a porn comic, Scott. Come on now.
And he's
He
so
wants,
he's the,
he wants
he's
to
the
steal
owner.
his time.
He's the owner of Image, so nobody can really tell him stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
People are probably trying to stop him, then he blocks them. So, there's that.
I've got 10 issues for Canada Bear outlined and written, 7 of them. Yeah, I think just as creators, everyone, like, as a first-time creator, when you do that first issue, you realize how hard that first issue actually was. And
Yeah.
if you're also the artist for it as well, I don't know what your experience, Nicholas. The first time I did a 20-page comic, I was like, gosh, that took forever.
It's time consuming.
It's time consuming, and so I was like, I don't know if I even wrote in my very first comic I made. It's called Almost Hero, and at the back I wrote myself a personal letter that said, "Yeah, this was supposed to be 12 issues, but they're not. Gosh, this was really hard, so I don't want to do this anymore."
Well, then also getting people's reception back, like I said, you could spend a year on something and you think it's the best, it's the greatest, but you hand it out to people and they're just like, go back to the drawing board, people.
And that's hard.
Yeah.
So like, how do you do that then? How do you make it so you don't waste your time?
Don't do what I did. Don't do what I did and draw up 5 issues and put up the first one on Webtoons. Don't look it up.
I found it. I have it up. I won't show it out of respect, but I found it.
It's 100 page. I did 100 pages. Was just going in it.
Because that's not the
scratch.
original. I was like, I don't recognize any of this.
Yeah, no, it's not the original. No, it's bad. But the comments gave me some good follow through. That by the time that I actually stopped drawing at page 100, I went, "Oh, people don't like this."
So you did 100 pages of that, but you only uploaded 15.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of just stuff.
Yeah. But you know what though? I think for creators though, that's kind of our playground. So the idea behind success, behind a winner, is someone that never quit. They didn't stop. My first version. So again, talking about passion is now Demon Hunter Raver is getting a little commercial success. Like people are recognizing it, people are talking about it. I'm making on certain things. But if you were to tell me 5 years ago, this is where I would have been when I was first getting rejections and stuff. I mean, I sent in a letter to Image Comics with one of my first versions of it, and they're like, "No, okay, yeah, that's nice." And so if you had told me 5 years ago that I would be where I'm at right now, when I was sitting there going, none of this is working, and having to sit there and there's a part of us as creators that we want to sit there and be like, this is how it has to be. This is my baby. It's going to go this way. And then you have to kind of look back at, like, you have to be your own producer at the same time. Like, Nick, I know that you love this. This is a great idea, but you're being stupid. No one's going to read that. Take out the porn out of Savage Dragon now, please.
Yeah, I think it's all, you got to have like, there is some point, and it was probably hard but you probably, like, there was probably a moment where you had to have like a coming to Jesus moment, and you're like,
Oh yeah.
this is not working.
Yeah. And people will tell you. And then if you, and the problem is if you don't take that feedback, because I don't think a lot of people are trying to be malicious unless you're the wonk and you're trying to be, I'm just kidding. I don't know him. I'm just kidding. Most people aren't being malicious. They're not trying to go out there and be like, yo, dude, this sucks. A lot of them are just being like, it's not there yet. A lot of people, like, even when I go out that way, I'm trying to be generally polite and just saying, wasn't my thing. Maybe try again.
Yeah.
You put a lot of effort into it and I see it, but a lot of us will come into your comments or in the DMs and say, hey, I see what you're trying to do. Here's some friendly advice.
Yeah.
I'll do that for a lot of creators. I'll just jump in the DMs and be like, hey, I see what you're doing. If I could give you just a polite pointer, I see that you could use this. I've seen this happen to some creators. Try this out.
And we should all do that. Like, if you go, hey, Tyler, you should do this next time. Do it. Like you said, hey, Jay, you should have a digital tier. And Jay wasn't like, hey, Nicholas, how about you shut the fuck up?
That's what he said before the stream. It was a little provoking.
He was like, oh yeah, thanks so much, Nicholas. Hey, read the DM I just sent you, bitch.
Gotta
Yeah.
catch you after the stream.
Exactly. But like, we all kind of have like creators got egos. Like
You have to.
you have to, but you also have to have that like screw you. I'm gonna keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Prove
Like
them wrong.
yeah, like Jay, you're in the YouTube game. It's hard.
Very hard.
It's so hard to grow a channel. I'm pulling up your channel right now.
And
Look at that.
people think you'll just get on YouTube and you'll just instantly blow up. No, that's not the
Right.
reality.
My boss came to me. He's like, "Hey, so we're trying to do something with this author. It's just really hard to like do this one thing we're thinking. So we're thinking we'll help her start a YouTube channel and we'll monetize it for her and we'll take 50% of the money. How hard is that, Tyler?"
Gosh.
And I went, "Oh yeah, like we'll just start a channel and we'll monetize it." He's like, "Yeah, that's what you do." I went, "No." You got to get 1,000 subscribers at least. Then you have to get at least like 4,000 watch hours. And then that's when you can just start making like a cent. And then he goes, "Well, how much money can you do?" I was like, "Bryce, I got 500 videos on my channel. I made $600 this year." So yeah, if you want to make 300 videos this year with her and only maybe cash out 200, be my guest. But this is a bad idea. And he goes,
The only people who making a living off YouTube is PewDiePie and 10 others. That's it.
exactly. Are you kidding? Yeah. Let's see. Never a complete waste of time, in my opinion, as an artist because of the amount of growth you can get from all that work. So at least you learned what not to do and you're a better artist. Yeah. I think another thing is slowing down. Like the other night, I've always been like, once Demon's done, I gotta do my next project. Entity. Once Entity's, I'm gonna do Chefs. And I was planning on doing Chefs like once we were gonna be done with the Kickstarter, a month later we were gonna do the next Kickstarter. 2 months later, after we'd fulfilled. And which means I would just be at a constant grind. I just can't do that with a family and a job. And so I was like,
Yeah, because I was amazed how fast you put out Entity, and that's a dope, big, gigantic book.
I had the
right
book
there.
done 2 years before we did the Kickstarter. So
Oh, really?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, we're not that fast. I was sitting. I mean, people said the same thing with Demons. How'd you do 400? This 400-page, comic. I was like, yeah, we finished it 2 years ago. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just sitting on these pages.
That's
but
the
like,
secret, though.
yeah, but it's good but it's good to slow down. Like, I'm already like working on a new series. But I'm like, you know what? Stop. Let's give Chefs the all. Let's put it out. Let's hear the reception, and then go. Okay, I heard what you guys said. Let's either make Chefs 1 and 2, or we'll make the new one after that. But I don't think a lot of creators. We just want to keep creating. But it's that feedback that makes you grow. I mean,
Yeah.
you you saw that webtoon, and you know, like, man, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 episodes in, I'm on that. You were like, this isn't working out, but you'd already drawn 100 pages. Was it 100 pages in that webtoons format as well?
No, it was traditional, and then I would go and splice it.
Gotcha.
There's more work on top of that because then you're reformatting everything, and
How is that formatting going, Tyler? With
just
changing your format?
god awful. I'm not gonna lie, it's terrible.
Sucks.
It sucks.
sucks.
Especially because I have a ton of wide shots,
Those are the worst for those,
and those don't work for a webtoon.
and people hate them.
Yeah, people hate them. Like I have a ton of shots where like the person will be like this shooting to the right. So luckily there's a couple where I was able, like the angle I was able to make it shoot down,
Yeah.
and it still like looked normal. But Clip Studio Paint, which by the way everyone is 50% off right now. If you don't have it, go get it. Even if you're a writer, go get it because you can like format crap on there. You can even letter stuff on there. Go get Clip Studio Paint. But they have a webtoon feature now, and it breaks it up into the panels.
Oh, they do?
It doesn't break all. It doesn't. Well, it's as in like if you want to do like a specifically webtoon only comic,
Oh, gotcha.
then then I worked out like,
Gives you-
okay,
Gives you the dimensions and everything already set, ready to go.
yeah, and then it will split it up into each panel, so it's like the right size.
The problem
For
is
you,
then what do you
okay.
do about selling it later? Like you want to obviously.
Yes, and that's my thing. I've been going back and forth. Do I just do a webtoons only book?
Right.
But I'm like, even if it didn't do well, I still okay. Well, it didn't do well, but I'm at least going to print a couple copies for my for myself. So I'm figuring that out.
Well, what if didn't we have a discussion previously? Like it was like the TV show and the movie. So like you have the TV series, it's like goes on, and then your big thing is the movie, where it's like
Oh, doing
you're
a
gonna have
separate
it in
comic.
yeah, like
Doing a
a
separate
different
comic
story.
like that. Yeah, I know a lot of people who are doing that, but I don't know if it like works. Lore Olympus is getting a graphic novel. Random House is publishing it. It comes out in October. It's
Interesting.
It's going to be the first 25 chapters.
I wonder how they'll format that.
Because I hope it. Because like I just from looking at this, she never thought that this was going to happen.
Oh no, most of them don't think that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she was one of the first ones, really. I don't remember. I think there's only a few before her.
Like you can tell, like that's actually not a bad page actually.
That reminds me of like the Sunday morning comic strips, like how they would do it with like Peanuts and Garfield and stuff like that. I mean, it's just what they should have done getting into publishing here is they should have printed that on a much bigger book, like a much wider format, and had it more of like a different reading experience that would still allow you to kind of go the horizontal and a different trying to do the actual graphic novel. Guys, if you're listening, call me up. I'll help you.
Come on, Webtoons.
Let's get it.
We got Andrew Rowland here. Thank you so much for the $4.99. My biggest problem is that I always either lose interest in the way the story is going, or I feel like the story is not good enough, so I keep starting over. We're going to answer this question, but first off, thank you for the super chat. And then also $4.99, thank you, Andrew, once again. Also on Clip Studio Paint, I keep my original 4-print file and copy and paste each panel and bubble into the Webtoon format. Yeah, absolutely. Same. There we go. Let's talk about this real quick. My biggest problem is that I either lose interest in the way the story is going, or I feel the story is not good enough, so I keep starting over. Now, Andrew does a comic called Melchizedek. It's a Christian superhero comic, and he was actually in our Discord, and we were talking about, about his book. But what do you guys think about the biggest problem? Is that I always lose interest in the way the story is going.
Well, that's where you guys spice it up.
Just give up.
Just give up.
No, don't.
Well, I one of my favorite producers, his name is Madlib. His catalog is massive, and he says he has that same syndrome right there, where he'll make a beat and then he's on to the next one because he cannot listen to the beat more than once because he'll get tired of it. So he'll produce, move on, produce, move on, produce, move on. So maybe that's something Andrew should do.
Yeah. Yeah. We all experience that rut when we're creating. Like even when you're drawing, it's just like if I'm penciling pages for 5 days straight, that gets tiring. Then you gotta move on to inking. Like you gotta spice it up in between, or maybe you've just gotta get outside of that sort of system or that.
I skip the penciling stage at this point.
I have to now too.
I'm just like, if I have to draw this one more freaking time, I'll kill myself.
Matthew Weldon is the king of just going from like light pencils to straight up ink. Like this one back here is him right there. I'm just like,
and he does it with a freaking big pen.
I know. I'm jealous.
But with that though, what's funny is like I lay out all my pages. I'll batch like 4 pages of sketches, and I'll go, okay, these are my pages I gotta get done this week. And I always can tell, like when when you sit down to draw, you're always like, oh, here we go. So I look at those 5 pages. I go, okay, which is the easiest one to do today? and I'll do that one first. And I'll always leave like I've got a massive splash page that I haven't even touched. It's in the middle of the book. I have everything drawn and colored except that one because I'm like I don't want to have to do that because it's just gonna be so time consuming. What about you, Scott? What do you do if you're feeling like things are just going boring or you're losing interest?
Well, I would have to say I'd have to restructure and come back. Maybe change their approach to the story. Like say you're telling the story and it's just like, it's not hitting it. I would have to like go back to the beginning of the story or reapproach it as in like, what's your end goal of the story? Like for me, I always have every issue. I have the ending of the issue in mind before I even write the story, so I can lead up to that particular part. I don't know. I haven't. Thank God I haven't hit that yet.
That's good.
In my mind.
If anything, I either give up which is always not good. Like, I hate that I have a 60-page comic book. I have issues 1 and 2 completely done, and they're equal 60 pages. And just because for the life of me, I can't figure out an ending that I like for the last 30 pages. I'm like, I guess we're just not doing this anymore. And I don't even care anymore. But for like a year, I was like, but I didn't want to do it. So I was just like, it's better that I just like quit doing it because time is money and and whatnot. Do you maybe your Jake Parker says it, your creative bank account is low. You've been working too hard and creating, you've been withdrawing everything from your creative bank account. Go watch a movie, go watch TV, go take a walk, go play some video games, go get inspired.
Read some manga.
Read some manga, read some comics, like get inspired by something.
Can I interrupt you for a second? He says that he might not be explaining it better, so I don't know if we're answering his question
Oh crap.
correctly. So he says, he goes, or if you feel the story is not good enough, so you keep starting over. So I think he's talking more like you're doing it, but you don't feel like it's going to be good enough to resonate with people.
Like a reboot type of deal? Like
he's talking about like you're writing it, but maybe it's good to you, but you don't know if it's going to be good to anyone else. Like you're starting to lose confidence in your story. It's not about like you don't know what to do anymore. It's like you're losing confidence in the story. It's a whole entire different paradigm.
And that's scary. Then that's also scary because you're like, crap, I put all this work in, and by the time you're getting close to the end of it, you're like, crap, like.
But that's the thing all creators go through, though. The project will never be perfect.
So
look at directors. Directors always go back and do a director's cut.
Zack Snyder.
It's never
gotta bring
perfect.
it back.
look at the Ninja Turtles. Look at the Ninja Turtles first issue. They went back and colored that years later.
Yeah.
You know, it's never going to be perfect.
Yeah. Well, and to go into that, do your first draft, write it out, go back and pick it apart and go, this doesn't work. Like that's where you need to get critical. So your first one should just be.
That's what I learned from this man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell you, if you watch that first video, it's bullcrap because I don't do any of the things I said in that video.
I noticed that because I remember you put out another video that said, forget doing a script, just do it. I remember you did a video like that.
But that's why it's important to do the script phase first. I think it's also important. One of the things my friend does is he has a writing group and they all like to write novels and they like meet up once a week and they go, this is what my idea is. And they get feedback. Because the hardest part being an artist, I know Andrew's the artist of his book, is that you do 20 pages of work. Yep. And then you go, how do you guys people like it? And they go, it sucks. And you're like, crap, I just spent so long drawing this book. But maybe if you had a group of friends, people like peers, people that you can trust, and you go, I can go, hey, Nicholas, I have this idea. Here's just my outline. This is what I'm thinking the story is. Before I even draw out anything, before you even hire an artist out, go, hey, I trust you. I trust your opinion. Pick it apart. And then they can go, okay, that sucked. Take that out. And then, you do that with a bunch of people. And there's probably going to be some similarities. If 10 people are saying, I hate this thing, then you should probably take that.
Get a minimum of 3, because that's what they say whenever you're doing contract work. Always get 3 quotes. Minimum of 3 people, because
they say the same thing with cancer as well. It's like the first guy.
That's true.
They say if the doctor says you have cancer, then you'll always get a second opinion. What happens if the second opinion is like, no, you don't have cancer? It's like,
I know a lady who had cancer. Keyword had, because she went through 3 opinions. The one person said get ready to die. The second person said you'll be all right. The third person said I can fix this. She went with the third person. Never had a trace of cancer for years.
There you go.
Yeah.
So always get a third opinion. It's true.
He's saying more at the end there. He just put another one. He's saying now that towards the end, he gets the script done, and then towards the end, he starts feeling that it might not be good enough. And again, that just goes back. Just finish it. Sit with it. Maybe let it dwell. Like play it in your head. Like, does it? Can you hit certain emotional impacts? Like, I think for artists / writers, we have such a complicated part because we're not just the writer. We're not just sitting there trying to pour over the story and then we hand it off to someone else and then we're trying to communicate with them. As a writer and artist, we're trying to visually see it at the same time. We're trying to organize and design. We're handling so many different parts of it that, slow down, like other people have said in the chat. But when you get done to that end, pick it apart. And that's actually the best part you can do with your script is do not become complacent with it. If you think you got a good script, you probably don't. Sit back again and pick it apart.
Be proud of what you've done though. Up to that point, like you wrote an entire script out and got everything rolling. You know, be proud of yourself. Don't
And
put
I'm supposed
yourself
to
down
help him.
all the time.
I'm supposed to help him real quick. When I was doing the Ninja Blast pages, I had something. I had it completely planned out in my head. But once I put it on the page, it was close to what was in my head. But I was satisfied with that, though. So I don't think it's going to ever come out exactly how you think it is. Is that just me or that happens to y'all too?
Well,
100%.
Well,
Yeah.
that is the problem with being a writer and artist. With Demons, I'd write it and I would pick it apart and go, okay, I think I'm at it. I think I've got it. I've got it where I want. And then I throw it over to Travis. And when Travis would send me the pages, I'm like, this is so exciting. He nailed it. This is great.
Yeah.
But because you've had that time to like be away from it.
Yeah.
But as an artist, but as a writer artist, you write it and now you're drawing it. And while you're drawing, you're like, oh no. Because you're seeing it every day.
Yeah.
And you're really married to it. And it's
I will say though, like Gene, my artist Gino, like
They're gonna say Jesus.
My
yeah,
artist
Jesus.
Jesus.
Yeah, Jesus. Anyway, he'll bring out a page and it'll be completely different than I would have imagined, but I go with it because it looks great and I love it and it tells the story the way I want to tell the story. And, it might not be the vision I wanted, but it's quality work that
Have you ever had to have
great.
him redraw anything though?
Yes.
Okay.
I've had him it doesn't happen often, but when it does happen, it's like minimal things.
Minimal.
Like for instance, he drew a car once and I'm like, this is the 50s. That car does not even exist.
Marty
minimal
McFly
things.
was in the back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Let's see. He said, let's see. Part of me wants to get a writer where I summarize a chapter and he writes it out and then I tweak out the dialogue scenes to my liking.
I did that.
Yeah, like Nicholas, you
I
did
did
that.
it too.
Just
Get someone that you can talk to.
that's what I think. I think a lot of creators, like being a creator, it can be lonely. It can be really lonely. I mean, I'm in this room most of the time just drawing by myself and I'm just listening to music or a show. Same thing with you, Nicholas. But also as a writer, you just write it and then you're just waiting.
Yeah.
You sent out that,
And the best thing about that manga Bakuman is showing you the dynamic relationship of the creative team and the editor, how they're just going, this is our idea, it's so great, and he's just like, it's not. So one of the paradigms that we're missing in indie world is we can't always afford an editor, so we kind of rely on the aspects of others to help us out. That mainstream doesn't seem to be doing this anymore, where the editor is now more like the yes man, like, yes, Tom King, we will fire that artist for you, yes.
Yeah. But you don't have an editor who's like, I am 100% in. I've got to make this successful as well because my job's on the line.
Yeah. Well, and I think we can all say that Chuck, I'm going to screw up his last name. Pino is going to be a great example of a guy that will take your creation and magnify it, because he's not just saying like, oh, it's mine now. It's like his job is to now magnify it and make it better than what you brought it to him. And that's the job of an editor. That's the job of a good editor.
I do like Nicholas that you've brought on a writer. Because I was talking with Tim. I remember going, Tim, on one of the streams, I was like, Tim, your art is so great. You're a good storyteller. Why do you need Mark? and they all laughed, but and Mark was like, yeah, Tim, why do you need me? But Tim was like, I might be able to come up with an idea. But as the artist, I'm so boggled down doing so much of just the art.
Yeah,
Mark can really focus on the story aspects, and then I can take it there. So I think,
find someone that's going to compliment you, someone that's going to boost you up, because that's what we're all looking for is to not just be complacent with where we are. Because I think as much as we're talking about having passion and going to a commercial, I think all of us would love to have some sort of commercial success in some sort of form or another.
Yeah.
We would love to make it
man, I just want my 10 people to read it. They're my fans. They're my family. And I'm making it for them.
Indie for life, baby.
Indie for life, baby. I'm not a corporate sellout.
But I mean, there are people that are like that. I don't want to disparage against that because that mentality is, how many of us would like to suddenly end up in Marvel and DC in this current atmosphere? We'd be fighting an uphill battle for maybe the values and the things that we would want to tell. I don't think we would have the same aspects, or maybe our vision would get completely lost. Then you're again another gear in the mechanized machine.
And they will own your characters too.
They'll own it, yeah.
I would, if they go, hey, we want you to make a new character, be like, nah. We want you to make a new character. Nah, I'll just keep using the ones.
That was the beautiful thing of when Paul Levitz was in charge of DC's operations back from like 2010 all the way back to like the 1990s. Is he was really huge on creator rights, on giving, if you created a character for DC, you got 70% of the profits off that, or you got a pretty large royalty check off of it. So he made sure that the creators were taken care of during that time, because he was really big about how Jack Kirby and those guys got treated back in the day. But again, you need someone that's in that chair that's going to be commanding it from the top down. And it doesn't sound like we have that right now.
I remember Eric Larson did an interview and he was like, yeah, someone at DC, the person who created like Helena Bertinelli, the creator was
Huntress.
Yeah, Huntress. He was like, yeah, and then he was telling his editor, yeah, and then Huntress is going to do this and blah, blah, blah. And the editor was like, but that's not what she would do. And he's like, I created the character. That's exactly what she would do. And the editor was like, that's not what she would do, though. And he's like, I literally created Helena, but they didn't care. They're like, you're wrong. So, it is important. Yeah. So I think, guys, we've gone on for an hour 50. We'll keep the stream on for a week before we delete it. But really, to answer the question, this is kind of what I've gone from everyone's answers. Do you create something based on your creativity and passion, or do you create something that will be commercially successful, or both? First off, you need to have passion for it. Otherwise, you're just creating this fake model of something and you're not going to be passionate about it. Once you have the passion, it will then go commercial. So how do you level up? How do you level up your creation? If you can't do it alone, get a buddy, work with a writer, find an editor, find a peer of, groups. One thing that I do like that the Larry setup is he has like the Bullet Club, like chat room, and you go, and it's just a bunch of creators who can just go, hey, what do you think? Like, and I feel confident of getting feedback, from every one of those people. And
Larry's a good guy. He pushes people. He doesn't just stand like, oh yeah, that's cool. Like he will push you to be like, that's nice, do better. So it's nice to have him on the side.
Yeah. I remember when I was doing it, I was like, he's like, how many shows you got this week? I was like, 2. He goes, not enough. And I was like, that's literally all I have time. I was like, it's literally all I have time for. He goes, you got to get on more. I was like, I literally can't. Like, but yeah, like get people on your corner and don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to ask. Jay hit me in the DMs, was like, I got a question, and he could have just not asked. But
I keep telling everybody, Tyler saved my campaign. He saved my life. Period, point blank. So I like asking,
Yeah, and you should, because we don't know everything. Like, I ask Nicholas stuff all the time because I'm like, I don't know this, and everyone should be able to ask everything. Scott was like, hey Tyler, what like tablet? What are some good tablets? What are some good tablets to get? So exactly. So if you're a creator in this chat, don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah, that'd be a little bit though, because we do bite.
If you hand anything to Nicholas and he goes, well, I mean, this is garbage, first off, but we can make it better.
We'll make it better.
But we can make it better now.
For mucho dinero.
Now let's talk about royalties. I'm thinking 70%. I went to my boss. My boss was like, Tyler, did you submit something in our pitch meeting? I went, I did. And he goes, okay, so what do you want for it? I was like, well, you can buy the rights from me, I guess, if you think it's a good idea. He goes, oh, I think it's a great idea. I went, sweet. Let's start the bidding at $1 million. And he was like, you're joking, right? I went, yeah, I'm kind of joking. 100,000. Let's start with 100,000.
How does $50 sound?
You'll give me an extra PTO? Deal.
All right, another day off.
Exactly. Guys, thank you guys so much for being on the show. Thanks for everyone who was watching. We had a good flow of around 20 people average watching, not walking. Real quick, let's make sure that we do one final. Everyone take a minute or two to pump out your campaign. You go first, Nicholas.
All right, I just want to make a quick preference here. The prices on this campaign are cheaper than what you're going to get afterwards. So if you jump on now, you're going to get a much better deal. And some of the stuff will not be on here again. Like the deluxe version will not be coming back. So grab stuff now. because I can tell you the $25 tier is going to be $40 tiers in the next month. So grab it now because
Plus shipping.
plus shipping. So grab it now. The deals are here. Do yourself a favor and back Demon Hunter Raven today, or else I'm going to come to your house.
I love that. So,
And
guys,
hit the button for you.
oh my gosh, I love it. All right, guys, go check out Demon Hunter Raven. I'm excited to get it. I got the wrong pledge, so I'm gonna have to figure that out tonight.
Most people did too, so don't worry.
Scott, go for it, man.
If you like Golden Age style comics and Silver Age and a book that you can read with your kids, back the Flock. The Flock is for all ages, and it's the fun, action-packed, goofy. It's very similar style to Batman 66, so it's for everybody, and I hope everyone gets to read it. So
one of your stretch goal, or maybe not a stretch goal, but one of your tiers. You could always add this within the next 15 days. It would be a custom slingshot.
Yeah,
You'll get his slingshot.
yeah,
Awesome.
We also it's not even just 3 books. If we get a certain amount of backers, there's also a 4th book that was made by a artist who wanted to do a fan fiction with the Gooseman. It's a one-off book, and it's 30 pages of just nonstop action. It's for adults. It's not all ages.
Awesome.
You get that right away in the first
Are
panel.
you still hand delivering gooses to everyone's house that backs?
Yeah, eggs. Yeah, I'm giving everyone eggs. Yeah.
Just in time for Easter.
That's hilarious. All right, guys, go check out the Flock. Link in the chat, link in the description. All right, here we go.
Ninja Blast, yes. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I've been wanting to come on this show for the longest. Life is complete now. Hey,
You can die.
I can die now. I'm gonna die live on camera. But hey, support Ninja Blast. This is my very first campaign. I want this book to be retroness to you, but also at the same time, it's gonna be something new. I poured everything into the art, into the story. I didn't want to be like Mr. Bendis and have a million speech bubbles per page. And I'm not trying to be
Right
mean,
on.
but I know people want to read a comic book and not a novel. So that's exactly what I did. Please support Fatal J on this, and thank you very much.
Boom, guys. Thank you guys so much for coming on the show. I should probably shill something too. Guys, you guys can go, if you go on Webtoons, you can go and get ready to read Chefs. I think we're going to be launching on Webtoon either in a week or two. We'll be posting 3 episodes on day 1. Link in the chat. We got around 50 subscribers. I was in the top 20 on top 30 on Webtoons, and I didn't do anything. So in the superhero category, which just goes to show that if you have a superhero comic book and you want to get eyes on it, throw it up on Webtoons, because they're clearly lacking superhero.
Yeah.
They clearly look lacking superhero content. If a comic like mine that has no episodes was able to make it in the top 30, top 30. Someone was like, Tyler, in the top 30, you're number 20, and I was like, I have no episodes. Everyone that's surrounding me has episodes, and the person above me had like 1,000 likes, but the person below me had like 5,000 likes. I was like, I'd be pissed if I was that creator.
Now, how do you have a rating and you don't even have, like, how does people rate that?
I'm that good.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
so like they just go like, we'll just go to Canvas, and you just like, let's just look at this one, and you can let's see, where is the rating system?
It's right there on the right hand side when you're on that front page.
That's what I thought. Where is
Get with the
it?
times, boomer.
Where? Oh, right here. Rate.
Yeah, right there. There you go.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do a one. Just a one.
Yeah.
Just on it.
No, that's so
Just
mean. Screw you.
Coming for you.
Yeah. So the people have already just. Well, it's 10. I know it.
Mine was at a 6 when I was doing it, and I was like, ooh.
Oh man, but yeah, like you guys, people can rate it. They'll every week we'll be putting out a new episode. The first day we'll have 3 episodes, on there. So yeah, I'm really excited for this. This is a good test. Let's see if people want to read Chefs. If not, we'll go back to the drawing board. But I really believe that this is going to be a silly goose time.
It's gonna be good. I got the feeling that it's gonna take people back to the early 2000s.
I hope so, because those were some good years.
Back when we used to run home when what was that show that used to come on Cartoon Network with the little robot guy?
Toonami.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They got that Toonami feel to it, you know?
Dude, yeah. Here's the cool thing about webtoons. I'm not saying that this will happen, but like some Crunchyroll will take some of these IPs. That'd be cool to see like a Demon Hunter Raven anime, a Scott the Frog 50s cartoon. We want Ninja Blast. Like it's just cool, like the possibilities that this space is opening for creators.
I keep thinking Ninja Blast should be turned into like a Nerf gun. Like, you're going to get Ninja Blast.
Ooh,
You should do that on your next campaign.
Fatal. One of your tiers after the digital one should be a Nerf gun. You'll like send them a Nerf gun with the comic.
Wow, that's a good idea.
So brand advertising. There we go.
And I mean, there's a lot of people out there that make custom Nerf guns.
Yeah.
You know?
Dude, I when I was doing the Kickstarter, I was gonna do a custom like chef knife. The day before I canceled it, the guy was like, "Hey, you gotta deposit your $500," and I was like, "Oh, I'm actually canceling the Kickstarter." But it was gonna be a really sharp knife.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was gonna be he called it the Rolex of knives.
Whoa.
Yeah, it says it takes him 12 months to make one knife.
What?
And I was like, oh, okay, is that why it's so much money? No. Yeah. So guys, go check out Webtoons on there. We got 50 subs. We're going to be uploading. Once it launches, we'll be uploading for like 20 weeks. That's half the year, and it's just going to be a silly goose time. So, guys, thank you guys, panel guests, for being on the show tonight. Go check out their campaigns. We will have a new episode of Draw and Talk on Monday. And peace out, everyone.
Peace.